Welcome back to Invincible Pod, probably the greatest podcast about the Amazon original TV series Invincible. My name is James.
I'm Ralph.
And today we're going to talk about Season 1, Episode 5. That actually hurt.
Right.
And, it did. Right from the get-go. There's a lot. This is the most brutal episode, I think, since that last bit of Episode 1.
Probably even the opening of the show.
Yeah.
Where you get that Titan tearing apart the drug lords.
That's it. We get this shot, and we saw Titan, I think, in the first episode. First or second episode.
Right.
So we've seen it before, but we've reintroduced to him. And this time around, it's a very Luke Cage vibe that I got from him this time. And he's it's a better version of Luke Cage on TV, where he just goes in and he just wrecks shop. And you get the sense that this guy is not a hero, because he's killing people in a brutal way. But you're also he's taking down a drug ring, so he's can't be all that bad.
Yeah, he's killing bad guys, and he saved the kid who shot him at the end.
Yeah, right. With a sawn off, he just blew. He tried to take him out, but as soon as that failed, it's no, just go, kid, just go.
Yeah, but we get a gun in the face.
That was sort of what kicked it off, with the brutality of it. Just the butt of the gun in the guy's forehead.
But yeah, all of it. I mean, we kind of come to expect that from the comic,
of course. And
it usually feels like fantasy, but this one felt a little more real.
Yeah, I think because it Titan, he's got his rock all over him, but he's not in a super suit or anything. So when Mark's doing this stuff, and when Nolan's doing stuff, we see them in their superhero alter ego, whereas this is just it's like if the Thing went really evil.
Right.
Or not even evil, just he just went, fuck it, you know what, I'm not part of Fantastic Four anymore. I'm just going to go and wreck shop on my own.
Right. Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
Great job.
He's great. He's actually got stuff to do this time around. We saw him in the first one and we're that can't be all of it.
Right.
And yeah, I just recently read the issue or two that this episode is based on in the comics. It's in the teens somewhere, so I've just got to issue 25, I think, in my reread.
I know the end fight is from 19.
Okay, there you go. So 19. So yeah, it was only a couple of issues back then for me. And yeah, so this, I don't think we see a montage of Titan being this. I mean, he's a mob enforcer. He's mob muscle. That's his role. Right. But we get it cuts back and forth to him throughout this episode. We see him doing quite a lot of stuff. So we see this at the beginning. We see him doing his Suge Knight impression of holding the guy over the edge of the building later on. But then we also see him he burns down a housing block. But then when the guys confront him about it, he's what did we do to you? He gives them some money. He's there's a place that you can go.
Right.
And I think that's where we realize that he's not evil, he's probably just in a real shitty situation.
Right, exactly. And you kind of feel for him the same way that Mark does, and maybe Nolan was right not to trust him. It's hard to say. By the end it feels here's the thing, by the end he's essentially taken over the business, and Mark is completely fucked.
Yeah, Mark. This is the biggest beating that Mark has had so far, for sure.
So it has the feeling of he is now the head crime boss, whereas you can also take it as he's now the boss who can kind of take care of the neighborhood and make it a better place. He can do
things maybe a little bit of a right way. He sort of thinks that there's still a need for this crime lord because it keeps other criminals in check.
Right.
But he can pick and choose a little bit more.
Yeah.
He can. Which, that's a slippery slope, because then he's still only going to take care of his own. As he said, he says it. He's I've got people that come first for him.
Right. I enjoy that aspect of the book where Kirkman could leave threads open and then later on decide how he wants to tackle that. If he needs, to do a specific storyline, he has options.
If I remember rightly, after Titan takes over from Machine Head in the book, it's ages before we catch back up with him. He's doing his own thing, but it's all in the background.
Right.
And yeah, it's much later that comes to a head again.
Right. So we've been talking
yeah.
about the book and the voice actors and how we like sort of listen to them in the show. Does that change how we thought they sounded like in the book? When we reread the book, does it change how we perceive those characters to sound? There's one character in the book that to me had a specific sound.
Okay.
And they went and hired that actor to play that character.
Can I take a guess at who that character is?
There's only I mean, yeah, sure, go for it.
I mean, it's got to be Battle Beast, right?
No.
No? Okay. Oh shit.
Principal Winslow.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and it's like as soon as he popped up, I was like, please do it, please do it, please do it. And I was like, yep, nope. It's Reginald Vale Johnson High School. So who do you have to get as the principal? It's Reginald Vale Johnson.
Right. Like reading the books, I don't even know if it's an inside joke. I don't know what you would call it. But yeah, I mean, they called
the case of like, we need a name, and who would be funny to have as the name on the high school.
But that's the thing is like Reginald Vale Johnson is not like, it's not a historic name. It's the name of that actor.
Like, yeah, he's not like this big time actor. He's just a character actor who people love from a certain like generation or two.
Right. And then maybe just because it sounds like someone from history, and Kirkman didn't want to
triple barrel thing.
Kirkman didn't want to set this high school in a specific location, so he didn't want to say like, "Oh, this is Warren G. Harding High School, and this takes place in, this city." But yeah, the fact that it's Principal Winslow, obviously Reginald Vale Johnson played Mr. Winslow on Family Matters. Family Matters
or Family Ties. I don't know. I
think it's Family Matters.
Before my time and in a different country. I know of them, but I never.
But it's like it was so obvious.
Yeah.
That the character in the comic was modeled after him, and then as soon as he started talking, I'm like, perfect. I knew it was him because I was waiting for it to be him.
See, like for us over here, like we never got that show. Like I'm sure a lot of Brits have seen it in reruns and stuff like that. But like our only real big exposure to him is Die Hard.
Right.
So like that's my connection to Reginald Vale Johnson is Die Hard. So like
that was the show with Steve Urkel. You probably know Steve Urkel. Yeah. So Steve Urkel was the next door neighbor, and Mr. Winslow was the dad. I think that character was spun off from Perfect Strangers.
One of them was a spin-off of the other. I know that much. Yeah, that was the glory days of TV where everything span off of everything. Everything traces back to Happy Days, doesn't it? Pretty much.
Right. But yeah, that was really like. I'm pretty sure that's him. It sounds just like him. And then, of course, the credits. I watched through the credits to make sure, and it was. So I was very, very excited. I'm sure Kirkman was excited when they approached him, and he said yes. I wonder if he's been aware of the comic book.
I'd be shocked. I mean, he's a guy who I'm sure has done like conventions and stuff like that in the past. And if they've never crossed paths, I'm sure that at least on social media or something, someone has mentioned to him, is like, hey, did you know that you're the name check of this high school in this comic book? I'm sure of it. It has to.
Are you hearing that?
I am now. I wasn't.
Jesus. I think they're doing work downstairs.
Oh, okay. It's not that bad. It's fine.
Okay.
As long as it's all right on your end, we're good.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's just annoying. But yeah, Michael Dorn.
Yeah, Michael Dorn as Battle Beast.
Perfect
as
cast.
You said, like I think when we were talking about the cast, they were sort of said to him, he's like, "Do you want to just do your Worf voice?" And so that's what he did, and it works. Like I was never a big Next Gen fan or anything like that, but like I know of Worf. I could be like, oh, all right, yeah, that's the Worf voice, but it fits perfectly for the character. And I thought Battle Beast, who was introduced in the show a lot earlier than he is in the books, but still has the same motivations. Like the only reason he's there is for worthy opponents.
Right.
And I love that. And as soon as he was like, well, I've won, I'm out, see you later. I don't give a shit about being your henchman. I'm not in it for your cause. I'm not in it for your revolution, man. And I'm certainly not it. I'm here for the money.
The thing with Battle Beast is he's like a formidable like villain. He's like a full-on villain. and the rest of these guys are kind of henchmen.
Mm.
And I feel like Battle Beast may have not been brought in by Machine Head.
He was just there as well.
I believe, if this is what I took from the episode, is that we definitely see Omni-Man overlooking this battle and then takes off as soon as Mark is knocked out by Battle Beast.
Yeah.
So what if Battle Beast was just a bonus that was hired by Omni-Man?
Yeah, Omni-Man was like, my son's going to go do this thing, or like, this hero is going to go do this thing. You've been wanting competition. Here's some competition.
Right. So the
He'll
blood's
be
not
here
on his
at this time
hands.
at this place.
The
I like that.
I feel like Battle Beast is from another world.
Yeah,
he's definitely not. He's definitely not Earthbound. Like, he's not from Earth.
No.
And the rest of these characters,
in that same sort of grouping as like the Viltrumites and Alan the Alien and Battle Beast. Like, those three sort of are all like your big extraterrestrial characters, whether they be hero or villain or somewhere in between. Like, they are your space based.
Right. And I feel he's out of place with the rest of these sort of Earthbound henchmen. So.
Yeah. The rest of them are very much like they're hired goons. Like, they're all powered up. They are directly from issue 19 of the comic. But like who have we got? We've got like Tether Tyrant and I think like Molten Man or something like that. I can't remember all of their names.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see here. I think I took a list. Okay, so this fight takes place. This is directly from X-Ray. The Penthouse fight takes place in Invincible issue 19 and involved the villains Furnace, Kursk, Maniac. Sorry.
There you go. That's so good.
Magnatac and Battle Beast, and Tether Tyrant. However, Magnatac was excluded from the fight in the television series due to production constraints. So they couldn't figure out a way to do.
They sort of
Magnatac.
swapped him out with Battle Beast, I guess.
Right. Well, it says Battle Beast was in this fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't remember
in issue 19.
Maybe he was. Maybe he was.
But I feel like the way he seems the most out of place.
Definitely. But I think it's because we've read so much more and we've seen him more.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like there's a name check, and we actually see very briefly in this, like we see a bunch of villains in this episode, like always just in like quick shots. Like we get the closest thing to a montage that we've had so far of like cuts back and forth between Titan doing his thing and Mark doing his thing. And we find out that like basically 3 months has passed since Mark and Amber have started dating. So pretty much in the last couple of episodes, 3 months has passed, which is cool. It's nice seeing the passage of time a little bit. But because of that, we see all of these other henchmen and we see all of the other ones. Like Nolan calls him at one point and he was like, yeah, Elephant is attacking over here. And then we just see him flying off with Elephant later on. And again, that's another character who is sort of a joke bad guy who's just in the background.
Right. Elephant shows up. He's essentially their version of Rhino. Like, it's a giant elephant suit with a hole.
Right. Like at one point in the comic, Mark, I think he's talking to Eve and he's like, yeah, I just had to fight Elephant. And he's like, guy's kind of lame. He's kind of like just a Rhino ripoff. And that's 100% like, Otley has probably asked Kirkman for some villain names that he can draw, and Kirkman's just sent over Elephant, and he's like, well, all right, I guess it's Rhino, but he's an elephant.
Right. So then there's one character we get that's sort of like a cheetah sort of character.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was.
Right. So thanks to X-Ray, I can say that this character was created just for the show. And the info on her is her name is Roar. That's a Roar Face.
Great.
And designed by Cory Walker, and so essentially she's a werewolf.
Okay.
And the collar around her neck keeps the rest of her body from turning into a werewolf.
So she's just a werewolf from the head up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. That feels like something that they had the idea for in the comic, but just never got to.
Right.
Like she's almost like a deleted character. That's awesome. I love that.
And that's one of the
So
great things about Corey Walker being involved with the show is that
yes,
the designs, when you see him, you're like, oh,
it
I don't remember
fits.
that character, but it fits. It looks
Yeah,
like an Invincible character.
it
So
could have just been someone that I've forgotten about, like
right,
easily.
exactly.
Like if you told me, oh yeah, no, she pops up in issue such and such, I'd be like, oh okay, cool.
And
Like
for
it's been a while.
and for those who haven't read the books, there's always just a ton of villains in the book, just like cluttering the backgrounds of scenes.
Oh yeah.
So you never know, like
Like
if that's
or
someone
the
who's
issue
been
will
around.
open with Mark finishing a fight, sort of thing. Like
Yeah,
there's always that sort of thing.
right.
So the big villain of this episode is Machine Head. We've mentioned him a couple of times, mostly in because like he gets defeated by the end of the episode. He's kind of like your Black Mask from the DC Batman stuff.
Right.
In that he's got the white suit, he's got a machine head. It's not a mask. I loved his auto-tuned voice.
Loved it.
It's so good because it's like he can't be the same as Robot,
Right.
but he is still a robotic character. So how do you do it? It's like just make it auto-tuned.
What was great about the auto tune? It gave him a weird voice, which was fun. Because I'm like, oh, that's an interesting robot sounding voice. You don't really hear stuff like that in like Star Wars or anything else with robots. But then when he starts getting amped up, the auto tune sort of makes him sound musical.
Yes.
While he's saying evil things, and it made me really laugh. I thought it was really, really a clever way to do this. Like it made the villain like
it gave him
scary.
A confidence. I thought it gave him that cool confidence because he's like, I don't care that you're smashing up my desk. Like I'm gonna make you pay for it, but I don't care. I'm not scared of you. At any point, he seem scared, and it's because he's kind of got like a whimsy to his voice because of the auto tune.
Yeah.
It was really clever.
It makes it intimidating, I think.
Yeah. It's intimidating because it's not an intimidating voice.
Right.
It's that sort of that almost like a deadpan calm to it, but because he just doesn't care.
It's almost like in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when they go into the tunnel and Willy Wonka starts singing. It's very off-putting.
Yeah.
So it has that kind of scene. It's a similar vibe of like, oh my god, like I don't know how to handle this. This is too weird. Man, the sound design in this show is really good.
It's amazing. Something that like you brought up in the first episode as something that you almost stood out to you as something that felt a little bit lacking. It's amazing that now this is like at least the second or third episode that we've talked about it being something that stands out as really good.
Yeah.
So that's cool to see that they are working on that stuff as well. We also get his right hand man Isotope, who I'd mentioned from rereading that issue of the comic. It jumped out to me that Isotope is 100% James Sim from Isotope Comics in San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
In books, like with his like flat top, like straight hair up. They changed the design a little bit, and I couldn't find, like even going through the X-ray thing or now looking on IMDb, who voiced the character.
They left it out every time.
I think it might be James Sim. It wouldn't surprise me if they just got him in to play the character that was designed on him.
Maybe it is interesting that it's not listed in the X-ray, and then I tried to find.
It could be just something that like where he's not like a SAG actor or something like that. Like he can't be listed or something. Right. Some weird thing. It could be anything. But I was like, that's cool if like they changed the design a little bit so it's not so glaringly him, but it probably is him playing him.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Shout
out to local comic book stores.
It sounds like Kirkman's just getting whoever he wants to play the roles. Like, I mean, every name is like a big name and
glad
that
this isn't his first show. Like, I feel like if this was his first show, he wouldn't have as much weight to throw around with it. Whereas now, like, he's got that Walking Dead clout, so he can just throw out names. He's like, well, shit, I just want Jason Mantzoukas, or I want Chris Diamantopoulos, or I want Jeffrey Donovan, or I want anyone. Like, he can throw out these names, and like the network will have faith in him and the product to say like, yep, cool, we'll go, let's do it. And also these people will sign up. Like, he's developed these relationships.
Right.
This works. It's really cool.
And then Amazon has money.
Yeah, they'll
So,
they'll throw them all at it.
which is good. I'm glad they're putting in the time and effort into this show, because I mean we're just now halfway through. We're over halfway through
We're over
this
halfway through
season,
now.
and so I'm
We
kind
need
of hoping.
they can't do just one season.
Yeah, I
That
feel
would
like
be the biggest crime.
I feel like the amount of effort they're putting into this show, at least for season one, they have to already be thinking about season two and moving forward.
100%. I've been thinking that, like, they've been setting stuff up that, like, there's so much that they're setting up that they can't be paying it all off in one season. One of the things for me, regards to that, is Robot and his whole side plot. Like, I'm sure that they'll get to some of it, but like, he's working with the Muller twins now with the blood that he took from Rex, I believe. But he's dead set on helping and fixing Monster Girl.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I mean, like, blood has been a big theme throughout this show. Like, obviously the title card gets more and more blood splat as every episode passes. I think by the end of the season, like, it's going to be almost entirely blood, with just Invincible like creeping through a little bit. But we've also got the blood being extracted there. Donald at the very end of the episode says that the blood is the key.
Well, one of the things that's interesting, I feel, with the robot storyline is I believe he's using the Maulers to try to do some genetic research to hinder the effects of Monster Girl's power.
Yeah.
But why take Rex's blood?
Well, I mean, I think I know why, based on stuff from the comics.
Right.
But I don't know how those two things tie together, which makes me think, interesting. Like, at least now we know why he broke the Maulers out, or helped break the Maulers out of their prison.
Right.
Because he needed them to be working on their stuff so that he could go and use them for their, like, genetic expertise. But we don't know exactly what that's for. Like, we know that he wants to help Monster Girl, but then why does he need Rex's blood for that? What does this all have to do with the deformed baby in the jar?
Right.
It's like the things probably will all tie together.
That's what's great is, though, like I mentioned before, like, Kirkman likes to leave things open so that you can go different directions. And with Robot, I was thinking in this episode, he's doing this to help Monster Girl, so he released the Mauler twins to help out one of his friends. So I'm like, he's doing it for good reasons. He's a good guy. But then you remember, but what's up with the baby in the Bacta tank?
Yeah, right.
That's and you're exactly like, oh shit. So it can go either way. I like that kind of. It leaves you guessing. I wanted to mention also earlier that we're talking about the show moving forward and then planting seeds for future things. So again, in the X-ray of this episode. So in the comic, two of the Guardians of the Globe that Battle Beast brutalizes are Black Samson and Bulletproof.
Yeah,
in the comic. And it says, here it's Black Samson and Monster Girl, since Bulletproof hasn't been introduced into the television series yet.
Okay, cool. So they do drop a yet.
They drop a yet in parentheses. That's what makes me feel like it's a sort of Kirkman writing this stuff.
Yeah,
because if you read these X-rays, it says, like, one of the things was Burger Mart's slogan is "Start your morning off with a hot BM," and in the X-ray it just says, "Yeah, we only do that because we're a bunch of children over here." So like, there's stuff in it where I'm like, okay, this is the X-ray feels like the Invincible letter section in the book. But I don't see them introducing Bulletproof this late in the game.
It seems too late to introduce another Guardian.
Right.
Obviously, we had the tease of it with the costume,
mm-hmm.
but I think we will. And I mean, it is, both of them get brutalized in the comic book, and they're in hospital for quite a while. And Monster Girl actually, like, Robot does something with the suit. What's his name? Suit that he's wearing because he doesn't have his powers anymore. I've lost his name.
Black Samson.
He ends up taking Black Samson's costume and using that for something else in the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, I'm pretty sure that Black Samson's dead.
I think so too. So
I
do you
don't
think that maybe
see him surviving this?
do you
And I
see
think
Bulletproof being a replacement?
I think so. I think that's what we're gonna do. I think that's where they're going. Like they'll go, okay, right, next up to bat, kind of thing.
Right.
I also think that there'll be someone else joining the Guardians before the end of the season. But we'll just leave it. We'll just leave that one there as well. I think you know who I mean.
I don't know. There's so many characters in the book. I can't think.
I think it wouldn't surprise me if we get Black Samson introduced. Maybe next season. Maybe the end of this season.
Bulletproof? Or you said Black Samson.
Oh yeah, no. Sorry, Bulletproof as a replacement for Black Samson on the team. But I think that there'll be someone else on the team before too long, especially if what Robot's been up to gets exposed, and like maybe the confidence in him as the leader is shaken. Do
you think we'll get Robot exposed this season?
I don't know.
It would be a great sort of season 1 cliffhanger.
I think that will be if we do. I think it'll be something in season 1. Like we'll have the main cliffhanger,
right?
But then that'll be like the B plot cliffhanger, like what's going on with the Guardians. That'll be then maybe finding out. Possibly, yeah, possibly. Because the post-credit scenes aren't like just an ancillary thing. They're just a part of the plot. Like we just get a couple of title credits like before. Like you have to watch them. Like if you don't see the post-credits, like you are gonna miss stuff. Right.
Speaking of post-credits, let's talk about last week's post-credits. We were looking in the closet. We had no idea what we were looking for. I watched. Didn't leave us hanging, thankfully. Yeah, and I watched another show that was doing a reaction of the video, and they said they thought they saw Omni-Man's suit in the closet, but that's not the case.
No. So I noticed it more on the previously on for this week. Like it seemed to really focus in on, it looked like a book or something, and then we get it fairly early on in the episode. Like Debbie is suspicious at this point, like, and she's not sure of what's going on with Nolan. Every episode that goes on, she's more and more like thinks that something's up. She doesn't know what. And then she's just putting away some laundry, and then she finds Damien Darkblood's notebook.
Right, very Rorschach.
Very Rorschach, very like Book of the Dead. Like
it looks like
a mix of the two, isn't it?
It looks like Evil Dead, but with Rorschach leaving his journal behind, knowing that he's going to be on his final mission.
Yeah, but also like I think he's like possessing this book somehow as well, because like she feels the chill. Yeah, she feels his chill, and we heard him a little bit at the end of last week's episode. So maybe like there's some connection between him in the physical world and him in hell through the book.
A little bit of a logic thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't Nolan fly to the moon, go to the dark side of the moon, and bury his outfit?
I mean, that would make more sense than hiding it above a picture frame.
It's crazy. And then also, I mean, he obviously has another outfit.
Costume.
Yeah. So why is he saving this one?
And again, blood is the key is something that came up, and we get the flash when she reads something or she's flipping through the notebook and she like zooms in on the word costume in the notebook. She flashes to in the hospital where he's demanding his costume back and stuff like that. That
makes sense for him not wanting Cecil to have the costume.
Absolutely. Yeah. But like she's now remembering it.
Why is he holding on to it?
Yeah. Who knows? Like
maybe it's to move the plot forward.
It maybe
with Debbie.
Maybe.
But I mean, she's not going to analyze it. She can't analyze blood, can she? Or she can give it to Cecil.
That's what I'm thinking. I think because I mean, as soon as she discovers it and the coast is clear, Cecil will just like teleport in because we know that the house is under surveillance.
Right.
So maybe
so he's probably seen this.
Exactly. Like I think he's grateful that she's doing his dirty work for him.
Oh man. Okay. Cool.
So I think that's probably what is happening. That like as soon as it's clear, and obviously they've got bigger problems at the moment because Mark is all messed up. But like as soon as it's all sorted, they'll be able to.
If Red Rush is able to penetrate the suit itself, it's not invincible. It's not an invincible costume. throw it.
I think even when we see it, like it's still got its hold in it and blood.
Throw it in an active volcano, dum dum.
Do something. Get rid of it.
Right.
Unless there is something that he needs from it or something. Who knows?
Unless he needs Guardian's blood.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is one of those things where I'm genuinely stumped. We're not even being coy with you, audience. Like
I don't
we don't know this. This isn't a comic book thing.
Like I could see Nolan creating a dark Guardians.
That'd be interesting.
He's pretty much got every one of their bloods on the costume.
You'd think so at this point. Right. The amount that he messed them up.
But I don't know. It's weird that he's saving it.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting.
And there's got to be better hiding places.
I like the tactic of sending him around the world to pick up groceries just to give ourselves 20 minutes. I thought that was really smart.
Well, that's what I told my wife. I said, man, can you imagine if I could just go to Chicago, grab some pizza and come back? God. Like it's...
Oh, man, that'd be great.
Oh, and then also brought up in this episode, speaking of flying.
Yep.
Eve and Mark were talking about some sort of geography in their history class.
Yeah, like he was complaining. He was like, why do I even need to bother like learning how to get to wherever it was? He said
like Madagascar or something.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's exactly what we were talking about with episode 3. When they were talking about Doc Seismic, like how
we were struggling as well.
Like how would I be able to fly to Mount Rushmore? Like I kind of know. I didn't even know which Dakota it's in, and I kind of sort of basically know where it is. Like, so I like that. That was
have a much better idea than I am.
Yeah, I like that was brought up, but
also it sets up like at this point that was after we saw Eve having problems with her parents,
right?
And she's got some wanderlust. She wants out. Like, she's not happy with any part of her life at the moment.
And it turns out she is 18.
She is 18. She is an adult.
So she can.
She's about to graduate. Like, they'll be graduating soon.
Right.
Like you'd think.
Interesting.
So I think she wants to leave. But in the book, again, like we've mentioned it a bunch, they're doing so much more with Amber. And I'm so happy with it. Amber is such a better character in the show than she was in the books.
Right.
And she is the one she's already doing charitable work. She's already doing good stuff.
Yeah.
And in the show, she invites Eve along. Mark's meant to be there as well, but he's got other stuff to do. But Eve goes along and she's inspired by Amber. She sees Amber doing this good work and doing stuff for her local community. And I think that's put some ideas into Eve's head.
Right.
And she knows geography.
Right. And it's heavily implied, if not just flat out said, that Amber knows that Eve is a superhero. She said she's out there saving the world. I feel like, that can't just be...
Do you not think?
Saying no. I feel like she knows.
I don't know. I feel like that might just be her just being coy. I'll just be like, yeah, all right, you cool. You go save the world or something. Like,
it's a weird thing to say to somebody.
It is a weird thing to say. Maybe. I don't know. I just read the issue yesterday where Amber finds out about Mark. And in that, like, Mark also gives up Eve's identity. Like,
oh my God. So I was waiting for it this episode. When Mark was at the beginning of the episode, when Mark said, I'm... And then he said it again, and I was waiting for the title card to come up.
Yeah, that would have been...
There's like a reversal.
I think we're going to get that title card probably in the next 2 episodes. I'm pretty confident that we will get that.
Right. But it was almost like a tease. Like, it was like the perfect tease of waiting to see, because they were like pushing in on Mark, and you're just waiting for that thing to pop up, and it didn't.
And I think that's the other thing. Like, we see with the fact that we've got the time passing, like, Mark is getting more and more confident in his superhero abilities, but it is having a knock-on effect to his alter ego life. Like, we see that he's now, like, he's skipping school. He's not struggling with school, but he's just like, he's skipping through. He's not sure if he wants to go to college. Like, he's always late or missing dates with Amber. Like, William's nowhere to be seen. Like, he's probably neglecting his best mate. Like, there's all sorts of stuff there. Like Bergamot, he quits Bergamot finally. It's like he's been late for work. And yeah, when he's trying to make amends with Amber by like bringing her dessert, like it was what was it? It was Japanese
Cheesecake.
dessert. It was,
Yeah, it was like a
Japanese
cheesecake.
cheesecake, and she thinks that he's gone just like to the other side of town. And it's like I reckon that's probably from Japan.
Right.
Like he's
Right.
probably been to Tokyo to pick that up.
Right. I feel like if Amber does know that Eve is a superhero, she should start being able to put two and two together.
Well, that's why I don't think she does.
But at the same time, you got to realize like there's only 3 episodes left, and the finale is going to be the finale. So I could see this sort of her finding out being.
I could see the finale opening with Mark telling Amber.
Right.
Like that would be how we get the title card in the finale. Like,
I mean, so okay, just assuming that Omni-Man is a main villain.
Yep.
The whole point of superheroes that we've learned throughout the years of having secret identities is to protect their loved ones. Yeah. And that's why Mark is not telling Amber.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, because if we think that Omni-Man obviously knows Amber, so like he's kind of screwed. Like she's not safe regardless.
It's similar to the Spider-Man Homecoming thing.
Yeah.
With
that scene with Michael Keaton in the car.
Like, yeah, it's
holy
great.
Shit.
It's an amazing scene, and it's like, oh shit! Like that's the reveal that he's her dad, and I feel like that is a similar sort of thing. Like obviously, it's who the father is to the other one is flipped, but it's a similar sort of setup where it's like, yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, I think
especially when Mark has to bail from like when he throws the rock back into space. Like he's like, I need to go see Amber. It's like he's not trying to be like, he's not hiding his relationship or anything like that. It's his dad. He gives him a hug when his dad says go. Like, yeah. I
feel like with only having 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
I mean, things are going to start scooting along here. They have to do season 2. They have to. They have to.
Like I just want the announcement. I just want it. Like I mean, I'm guessing we'll probably get it as soon as season 1's done. But like, I just want them to be like, no, we're coming back. Of course, we're coming back.
I'm hoping it's like season 2 in the fall or in the spring, or no, fall in the fall. Like I'm hoping it's like, here we go. Like we're all in.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's like some things COVID hasn't affected production with too much. This is the sort of thing that it's either going to have had a big effect and we're not going to get it until like end of next year, or it's going to have had no effect.
Right.
And we get it maybe end of this year or beginning of next year, like January sort of time.
Right. And it seems like the majority of the animation's done overseas. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
But I feel
who knows?
I feel like some of the show had to have been made during COVID.
Yeah, it had to be. Yeah.
So I don't see why if they're able to finish out the season or do however much of the season that they did.
And everyone and we're now like over a year into it where everyone is a little bit more on the ball with what they're doing. So like a lot more stuff, even if they are having to work from home, like people are able to a lot more.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But hopefully that won't even be an issue by the time season 2 comes around.
Right. I really want it. I think this show is great. This might be my favorite episode.
It is definitely my favorite episode. I was going to say
I didn't mention it last week, but I think episode 4 was my least favorite episode. I felt like it was mostly set up. There was a lot of threads that were kind of just opened up. Story wise, from beginning in, I still loved it. It just wasn't my favorite. I liked the first 3 more. But
I felt that about the Mars plot in the book as well. I was just like, okay, that's fine, that's cool, that's a fun little side story. But side story that sets up other stuff, but like it doesn't on its own. It's like okay, that's fine.
Mostly a long way to go to get the astronaut Martian into the fold, which we probably I'm going to say won't see the rest of this season.
That's something that again that feels like a setup for later down the line.
Right.
Battlebeast, the Mars astronaut. Like all of these are these are future things. Like we will deal with Battlebeast again. I'm sure of it, but I don't think we're going to get in this season.
Yeah,
I don't.
Unless there's some sort of reveal where Well,
Yeah, unless, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
if we do, it could be like in a flashback or something like.
Or if like like me personally think that Omni Man hired Battle Beast, and Omni Man was there to watch over the fight to make sure Battle
I
Beast did his job.
love that. I like the more I think about that, I love that.
Also, it sort of seems like Machine Head might be in cahoots with Omni Man, in the fact that I mean he just like ever since Mark talked to his dad, it seemed like Machine Head kind of had a beat on everything. Like there's no sort of whatever program he was talking about, you know, is not going to figure.
Like we see, Cecil does take out a chip from his head.
Yeah.
Like when they capture him, like they're taking him away, and Cecil like opens up his face and takes a chip out. So maybe there is something on that chip, like, and maybe if he is in cahoots with Omni-Man, there is some data on there that Cecil is going to be able to reveal.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. That'd be really great.
Because Omni-Man doesn't show up to
a couple of smoking guns. Then like we've got the costume, we've got the chip, like we've got all of these things, all this evidence stacking up against Omni-Man, and like I could see it being like all of this evidence is being built up. Everyone is against Nolan and Omni-Man, apart from Mark, or like Mark is like defending his dad, and that's when we get the reveal.
Yeah, this is really the only fight we've seen where Omni-Man shown up. We don't really see him at any of the other montage stuff. Also,
or if he does, he shows up at the end, cleans the floor with everyone, and that's it. Like
but him not going in and helping out his own son is telling. I know Mark thinks he saw Omni-Man, but the audience saw him. As an audience, we saw him for sure. There.
Like even in an earlier shot, like we see like a dot that is definitely him in the background. But then when Mark is fading out, like he sees him looking down, disappointed, but he fades out, and then as soon as his eyes open back up just a little bit, it's all blurry, but he's gone.
Yeah.
And then when Nolan lands back at home and Debbie's just got the phone call, obviously like from Cecil, he looks pissed, like he looks like angry, disappointed kind of thing. And presumably because he was hoping for more from Mark, but we don't really know. Or he's disappointed that he had to do what he had to do, or who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
We got a few more music drops, as we have been every episode, but one that I just wanted to mention, I clocked it straight away, as a band named Battle Tapes. I think it's during Mark's montage of where he's like cleaning out villains and stuff. They're really cool. They're really, really good. They do just good. It's kind of synthy a little bit, but I really like that band. And so, Battle Tapes, check them out.
Yeah, all the music drops are interesting because I'm not super familiar with like popular music and stuff, but it sounds like more indie stuff.
A lot of it is like either indie or like hip hop sort of stuff. I'm not, but like I only know these guys because they've done some soundtrack work and stuff in the past as well. So like I've discovered them through that, and I'm like, oh shit, I love this band. And so to hear them on this, like they've got a really unique sound that I was like, oh cool, it's Battle Tapes.
I wonder if they're putting out an album, like a soundtrack album on like Amazon.
It wouldn't surprise me. Or put it on their own streaming platform or something like that. Their own playlist of just music from Invincible.
I'm sure somebody set up a Spotify playlist by now too.
I mean, there's bound to be. I mean, I feel like I could almost make that at this point. Like every episode, like I feel like I've got like a few tabs open on my phone. I'm just like, right, okay, over to Shazam just to like, what is this?
Also, every music drop shows up on the X-ray. I found that out too.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I like that there's a theme. Like there's a theme throughout all of them. Like the Mauler Twins definitely have more of a hard hip hoppy sort of vibe. Like even this one, it wasn't a Run the Jewels track. I think it was just a generic track, a bit of score, but it sounded like it could easily be Run the Jewels, which is very cool. I'm just looking through my notes. I don't think I've got anything else to mention.
Yeah, I don't either. This is my favorite episode, I think.
It is mine too. I loved it.
It feels like the book.
It felt like the book. It felt substantial. That felt like there was a lot happening. Like, but not
so
just in
happening.
one. So much happening, but it never felt like cluttered.
Right. It gives you time. It gives you time
really
to
does.
It's the runtime, the 45-minute runtime really allows for moments with Mark sitting on the rooftop with Titan.
Yep. Or like the cutaways to Amber and Eve talking and like actually having human moments.
Right.
Like interspersed with Mark getting the living shit beaten out of him by Battle Beast.
That fight was nuts.
I love that they gave him the gravitas that they did. Like they gave him the weight. Like the other villains, like at one point, like when the Guardians arrived, which was a cool addition, the fact that the Guardians came in and tried to save the day. Like even after Black Samson and Monster Girl got messed up, they all came together, and I think it's Rex is like, "Oh, you're fucked," and they do. They mess them up. They mess up those other henchmen, and like Mark had also already taken out those henchmen once on his own. Mm-hmm. But it's Beast. Battle Beast is the one who almost single-handedly wiped the floor with everyone.
Right.
This is definitely the most that we've seen Robot fight, and I really like the style and like the athleticism that he's got. I thought that was really cool. It was really nice to see.
It's not only the athleticism; it's the precise movements.
Yes.
Like he very he like locks like into those positions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then to see him,
he's only moving when he needs to, and he's landing exactly where he needs to.
And then Battle Beast is able to get a hit on him, which just goes to show you, like, no, even if you're like the smartest guy in the room, Battle Beast will get you.
He is the ultimate warrior kind of thing. Like that is his entire thing. He's a gladiator.
Right. I did the artwork for both the YouTube and for the show and Instagram and stuff, and they both have they don't show Battle Beast, but they have a presence of Battle Beast. Like that's how he feels, like a presence. Where you have the whole Guardians of the Globe just staring up at him with his mace in the foreground, and then Mark bloodied crawling away from him, and you just see his fist in the frame. It's like they make him a presence.
It's such a good dichotomy. So. Like we'd seen him get so much better throughout this episode. Like this was the most confident we'd seen him this episode. Like he felt invincible. Cut to title cut, and then just to have him get his ass kicked by Battle Beast was great.
Right, and it makes you wonder. Like, is there anyone out there that can defeat Battle Beast? Do you think Mark will be able to do it? I don't think so. I don't know.
Not at the moment.
Yeah, definitely not at the moment. Could it just be Nolan trying to toughen up the kid? Maybe he was there waiting to see if Battle Beast took it too far, and then he would interfere?
He said like that plays into a couple of scenes that we saw with Nolan training earlier on, like when he dropped the guy. He's like, I'll catch him. Yeah, I'll do it in a minute. Like, he lets him go as long as he possibly can, and then he'll fly down and catch him.
Right.
And also when they were up in space, he was like, "Your training is the most important thing." Mm-hmm. So like those two things, like Battle Beast could very well be a training exercise in Nolan's eyes.
And Nolan would have stepped in before it went too far. Could be that. I don't know. I feel like either way, Nolan is responsible for Battle Beast being there,
or at least for it going as far as it did. Even if he's not responsible for him being there, like he could have stepped in.
Yeah,
he could. I mean, we saw him even before the Guardians got there. He could have stepped in straight away, helped out, and presumably won. But he didn't. He just hung back and watched.
Nolan, what are you up to?
Shifty. Don't trust the mustache.
Nope.
I'm like we were so spoiled in week one that now these weeks that we have to wait in between. Like, I love that we've got time to let it breathe, but I want it. I want the next episode now.
I was excited when it dropped. It's that the anticipation helps a lot, and this one was definitely worth the wait. 100%. That battle was amazing between the Guardians and Machine Head's men.
That's the best you've seen, definitely.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next week. I have no idea. I don't know.
I love it. I love that we have no idea. Like I think before the show started, we sort of had, it could have gone one or two ways. Either we were going to really know what was coming and look forward to it because we knew what was coming, or we would be, as we are now, like, we've got a rough idea of how the plot will play out, but we don't know how it's going to go episode to episode, beat for beat. And I love it. I'm so excited. I've seen a lot of people saying they prefer the show to the books, and I mean, it's hard to say this early on, but I can't fault them if that's the way that they're feeling.
Yeah, someone mentioned that on Twitter, and I responded with, I think they're on par. I don't think it's a bad thing to say that you like the show more than the book.
No, definitely not.
I mean, at this point, I don't even know. I love the book, but this follows so closely that I love it. But also, the changes that are being made for the show are all improvements.
They're improvements. They are all improvements. So I don't think there's been one thing yet that has been like, I preferred it in the book.
Yeah, I think the only thing I prefer in the book is that Kirkman's able to spend more time stretching out this story, and I feel
longer periods of dialogue.
I think we got to issue 7 when we got to the Guardians of the Globe, as opposed to episode 1. But so I feel like you have more time to kind of sit and think about this stuff with the book. But yeah, the show has improved on a lot of the storylines from the book, and sort of rearranged them to make them fit this format. And like I said last week, this TV. Format's great.
Definitely. Yeah.
This format's great. I keep thinking about comic books that I want as done through this Amazon Prime originals.
Like, did you get any response for your Mad Men shout out?
I mentioned it to Mike. Mike said something about me being hooked into his brain. Sounds like he's thought of it.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's watching Invincible.
It'd be hard for him to not think about it.
I mean, he can't. If he's sitting here watching the show, especially with the way Mark is designed, has a very sort of, he's got the same.
They're similar.
The hair out of the top and stuff. How could you not see your own creation and be like, I could see Madman jumping around with a yo-yo, and it. Like, there's so many characters in Madman, just like there are in Invincible. Like, he's got to be like, I mean, I don't know who he talks to. Does he contact Kirkman? Does he contact?
I mean, we know that he was tight with Kevin Smith for quite a while as well. There, so like, I feel like he's got enough connections with people that. I
have a story about Mike. I probably shouldn't talk about, but there was a comic creator who we saw at like some sort of a gathering. And this was like a major dude, and was like, when are we going to work? When are we going to work? So people love Mike. Mike's the nicest guy I've ever met.
And he's also been doing it and doing it at such a high level for so long that it's kind of hard not to. He is just one of those guys in comics that's been there forever.
His artwork already looks like animation. I was going to say it straight up looks like something you would see like Hanna-Barbera, Thundar the Barbarian sort of era, like animation, those nice, thick, simple lines. It's not crazy bold detailed like a Spawn. Or
his wife Laura does all of his colors.
Correct.
Like,
and he's colorblind.
He's colorblind. That's insane because his books are so. Like, you think about a Mike Allred book, and the color is one of those things that is immediately to your mind. It's like, no. You think about an Allred book. It's not just Mike. It's Mike and Laura are a team. They are 100% like an amazing team.
And he has to. I mean, I think it's a partial color blindness. He sees wrong colors, I think. So I mean,
surely.
But who's he going to trust more to make sure it's right? God, I love. They're both seriously okay. They're really good friends. They're seriously the nicest people ever. They're so kind.
That's great.
And
any man that has a custom built Mandalorian suit, you gotta trust.
Right. He's the biggest Mandalorian fan for sure. He was on one. Okay, so this is a sidebar. If you go to youtube.com/casinoskunk, I have a Patreon page, and I put all my Mandalorian episodes on YouTube for free. James was on an episode, and then I had Mike, and I asked Mike, I said, Mike, do you want to do an episode of Mandalorian? I know you're a fan. He said, I want the finale of season 2. I want to talk about the whole season. And he just gushed about Mandalorian. The dude's the coolest guy, the nicest guy. Amazon. Madman next. Let's do it.
Do it. Stop being cowards, Amazon.
But then I was thinking about it, like I would love, even though there was a show, iZombie, it wasn't anything like the book. I would love to see an animated version, because iZombie was created by Chris Roberson and Mike Allred, and that was only, I think, 26 issues. Like
something like that. The show went way longer than the book.
Like, yeah, so like do the animated version of the book.
Yeah,
it already has a name attached, and then
you could keep the same voices.
Yeah, one season
for the characters that are there, like they're there.
Exactly, one season.
And plus, that gives Rahul Cooley more work, and we love him.
Right. And we'll get to see him as a were-terrier. I actually didn't watch the last season of iZombie.
I've only just started watching it like recently since I started this new job. Yeah. And I really enjoy it because
it's really good.
It's just fun, and it's like we're going completely off book here, but like it's got enough of the comic book, but it's also got enough of Rob Thomas TV stuff because it feels so much like Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
It's Veronica Mars, but in a morgue.
Right. Right.
But that's a completely different show. In this country, you can watch it's on Netflix over here.
Okay.
But that's a different streaming platform. So one of them could work with Michael Red on, another show.
Yeah.
But until next week, where can people find us, Ralph?
At invincipod.com and at Invincipod on your Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, but not on YouTube. I am going to keep pushing the YouTube until we get the 100 subscribers, and we can get that vanity URL. That's all we want. You don't have to like the show. Once we hit 100, you can unsubscribe. I don't care. I just want the vanity URL. Hopefully, though, you do visit the YouTube and you enjoy it and want to stick around because I've been posting stuff from, it seems like Prime Video UK has been posting the most Invincible stuff. Prime Video in the United States, not as much. And then I'll repost stuff from there, from Skybound. So anything you want to know about Invincible as far as the show is concerned, just go there. I'll pull that stuff from everywhere, and you can take a look at that. And I keep on finding reactions to that episode 1, and they're all so fun to watch.
It's really great.
And then all our episodes will be there, and then check that out at youtube.com/a-bunch-of-random-letters.
All of those links.
So just do a YouTube search for Invincipod. You'll find
Invincipod.
us.
Yeah, you'll find us.
Subscribe us. Yeah.
Cool. Until next week, keep watching the sky.
Bye.